So I'm here with famous Mank, Dewsbury, and Pete Bailey.
Bloody hell, team.
Definitely not a Mank, but I think I've been in or around Manchester and the rock scene in Manchester to earn at least the title of honorary tourist. Maybe?
Well, you were part of the infamous gang with Mike Sweeney, weren't you?
Yeah, indeed. Rock Radio back in the day.
Yeah.
Jeez, man. That was a trip.
Those were interesting times. One of my clearest memories of that was when you got a vinyl player in the studio and put on Stairway to Heaven. Do you remember that?
How good was that when we finally got it? Because I'd bigged it up. I'd massively bigged that up. Playing Stairway on my dad's original vinyl and that. Put it on, and it wasn't wired up properly, and it was just...
It's the hiss.
So like, okay, so I'm going to play another song, and then we're going to get an engineer and see exactly why it's gone. Finally did it eventually, and it was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
Stairway on vinyl.
So what's the raison d'etre behind Primordial Radio?
Rock, metal, community. That is who we are, what we represent, and I don't think I could put it any more simpler than that. If we're trying to sum it up, we're a rock and heavy metal radio station that is owned by the community it serves. So we did our first race 2 years ago. We're now in the process of our second race, and we are here for the very people that who own the station and for the actual rock and metal community itself. Tonight is a new music gig, so a big part of what we do is new music. So kind of flipped it on its head how traditional radio stations used to be. So all of the previous stations we'd all worked at would never be as would play as much new music that we are. And that's what tonight is about, supporting new bands, supporting new music, and two incredible charities as well, the Manchester Mind and the Sophie Lancaster Foundation. I hope that kind of sums it up in a lift pitch.
Yeah, your financing model's a little bit different as well to normal radio stations, isn't it?
Yeah, so a lot of the normal radio stations will go after advertisers, and we're not having a pop at that, but it's just not what we want to do, because when you go down the advertising route, things get compromised, be it the music, having to listen to 20-25 minutes of ads in an hour.
That would be pushing it. Probably like 12-14 minutes
12-40 minutes of ad an hour.
But part of it as well is that, as I've found out through what was at the time 106.1 Rock Radio, as we found out when it became Real XS, as we then found out at Team Rock, advertisers don't care about the world of rock and metal. They don't give a shit. They can hit their numbers by advertising. They'll go to an advertising agency, and this agency will have, they will have Heart, they'll have Kiss, they'll have all these different radio stations on their books, and they can hit their targets. We want to hit 500,000 ABC1 kind of people, different categories and all that, and they can do that, just go tick, 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 advertising. When it comes to a fairly niche genre like rock and metal, they don't care.
Even if you hit your numbers. I've known radio stations that have millions of listeners, or had millions of listeners, and they still couldn't get the advertising because it was a rock and metal station. You could have had 2 billion listeners and they'd go, oh, it's a rock and metal station though. No. So you it just feels like you're fighting a losing battle in that sense, which is why we just turned it back to the actual community we're serving, I guess.
We are Primordial.
You are Primordial.
The whole idea is that advertisers don't give a shit. So if we, as the rock and metal community, if we want a decent radio station, that plays the kind of music that we want, that plays the new music, that play where we can do what we want. If we want that, we've got to do it ourselves. And in order to fund it, since the traditional radio advertising model doesn't work in our case, turn it on its head and do something different and give it over to the community. So we're owned and run for the benefit of the community that we serve, and that's it. That's the way I think it should be. Loads of places where we've worked, they kind of look at listeners as going, oh yeah, them.
They just don't get it, and they never have.
No.
And they never will. They'll just never understand.
It's the traditional way of thinking. It's the them and us kind of thinking, which that's not what we're about at all. It's like, in the rock and metal community, Christ knows, we're marginalised enough. I'm not playing the whole fucking poor me card and all that, but as a community, we're kind of sidelined. And so we're going to do this thing ourselves. And we're going to make a damn good job of it as well. And I think, touch wood, I think we're doing it.
We're getting there.
Yeah, I think you're heading in the right direction, definitely. So what was the thinking behind the bands this evening? It's a charity event, as you mentioned before.
So the idea was to have four bands who we've been playing and supporting on the station over the past 2 years since we launched. And it was trying to put a bill together that's almost reflective of the station. So on the station you will hear literally everything from Don Broco to Cannibal Corpse and Parkway Drive. It's a very broad church. So we kind of wanted to try and put together a bill that represented the station but for new music and new bands. So we have the fantastic Those Damn Crows. They just smashed it at Download Festival. And then beneath them, so like Those Damn Crows, obviously they're more in a sort of traditional kind of classic rock sound, and then Ravenface, they started out more in the metalcore world, and they've got this amazing sort of like arena metal sound that they're building on now, which is just fantastic. And then As Sirens Fall are a band that have a multitude of influences, mixing in some pop and alternative stuff into a rock sound, which is ace. And then Sertraline, who just have like the most incredible metal sound, and they're mixing more tech into their music. So I'd say as a 4-band bill, the idea was to try and represent everything we play in one gig. And I think we kind of got there in one gig.
It's a good mix of bands, definitely.
Although there's not there's no de-Antwood though, I'm afraid. I don't have a de-Antwood for the bill tonight.
And I like you a lot.
Okay, well, thanks for the update and everything. We really appreciate it. And,
Thank you.
Enjoy this evening.
Have I just had a bird shit on me?
No, it's starting to rain.
Oh, thank Christ for that.
We are in Manchester.
Yeah, well, I've been outside at Salisbury in the smoking bin. I keep on getting shat on by pigeons.
Oh?
It's not good, and I thought I'd just been shat on.
But you need to be careful because there's rats in that area as well, so they may eat you.
Oh joy!
So, get shat on by a pigeon and bit by a rat. I'm still going to go to the Souls later.
Yeah, absolutely. It's lovely.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Kill 'em, man.
Appreciate it.
See you later, man.